To begin, go ahead and go to the Build a Module resource folder, and in that folder, go ahead and copy the Assets folder. Go ahead and go to the base directory for your Drupal site, and in the Sites, All, Modules, Custom directory, go ahead and paste the Assets folder. Go ahead and expand it. Go ahead and expand the Steps folder as well. See, there's a number of steps, and we'll start from the beginning and just sort of build our way up to the image gallery. Go ahead and open up the assets.module file, which should be empty. And also open up the first step, which is called simple unmanaged form.step. Go ahead and copy the entire code in this file and paste it into your assets.module file and save it. Let me just take a minute to explain why we're building the module that we are. First of all, there's two different types of files in Drupal, managed and unmanaged files. Managed files contain a physical location where the file is, but they also have a database entry. And modules can register a file in the database, and they can also register usage of a file. What that means is that one module can register a file, and then another module can register usage of that file, so that when the original module attempts to delete that file, it will remain in the database, and the physical file will remain until that second module withdraws its usage of that file. So there are several benefits of using the managed file system, and most of the file API is centered around that. We'll talk about some of those benefits as we go through this module. Unmanaged files, on the other hand, contain a physical location, but they don't have a database entry. So a lot of the management of those files is manual. There's not any saved data about the file unless your module takes care of saving that data. What we're going to do in these first steps is to build a form that will allow us to save an unmanaged file, and then we'll go through the steps of viewing those files and managing those files, and then we'll rebuild the module to use managed files so you can see the benefits of using the managed files and the differences of using each technique. Okay, let's go ahead and work through the code in here line by line. So first of all, we have an implementation of hook menu for this assets menu function, and in it we're defining a single menu item. The path is assets/unmanaged. We have a title and a description, and we're using the page callback of Drupal get form because we're just going to embed a form on this page. The page arguments include the function that's going to get passed to Drupal get form to build that array. If you have any questions about this, go ahead and take a look at the Form API section and how to work with the menu system. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at this function that returns the form. What we're going to do is just build a simple form that has a single file input and a submit button. But before we can use a file input, we need to set an attribute on the form. That attribute is the enc type, ENCTYPE, and we need to set it to multipart/form data. This enables us to send not just basic form data, but also binary data through a form input. And we have a single input. The title is unmanaged file example, and we're giving it the type of file. This is pretty simple. And then we're adding a submit button, giving it a type of submit and a value of submit, and then we're just returning this form. In order for this form to do anything, we'll need to build some validation and submission functions as well, but let's go ahead and preview our form the way it is and get our module installed. So I'm going to jump to the browser, and I'm going to go ahead and scroll down in the modules page. This is admin/modules. And we're going to enable the assets module under the build a module section and save it. Once this is done, I'm going to go ahead and jump back to the editor and copy this path, assets/unmanaged. I'm going to paste that in the address bar. Okay, so we have our single input right here and a submit button. If we went and looked for a file, I'm going to go ahead and grab a JPEG and click submit. Our file would get uploaded to the server, but because we haven't set up any processing, it would just end up in the temp directory and left behind. So let's go ahead and add some validation and then add some processing to put our file in a place where we can find it